How you guys doing? It's Chuck Burns for the USA here. I saw a post Glenn Beck put out the other day about a trial this guy was going through, and his name is like Turtle or something. He's a free man. He's a sovereign citizen, and we all know that that's a bad thing to be called because sovereign citizens are on domestic terrorist lists, and that's what the FBI considers them anyway. And I wouldn't go affiliating with any one of them. I mean, that calls himself that, not because I disagree with all the things they say, but because it's just silly. It's foolish, and got to think too. The reason it's really foolish. The people are being associated with by taking that title is people like McVeigh. Timothy McVeigh. I mean, the Oklahoma City bombers. I mean, Terry Nichols. They were sovereign citizens, but they were the bad sovereign citizens. There's this history of sovereign citizens, a lot of them being cheats, and it's unfortunate because there's a lot of things they say that I agree with to a high degree, but they take this whole thing about like the straw man and who I am not that person, that's my person, that's not me, and they go a little bit ridiculous with that. I mean, because see, that's the kind of fallacious argument. It's like, okay, you got a piece of paper with your name on it. That's not a separate entity than you. That is just something saying you are what you are. I mean, I have no problem with the ID, a state issued ID that I keep for bank purposes, whatever, that I can go choose to have. I don't think that it's something I need to have to drive a car. I think we have a right to travel. I think the second you start having a license, to make it a right to call it, and it's not a right anymore. It's a privilege that the state can grant and take away if they so choose. And just same thing, the whole driving system is kind of screwed up. I mean, because your car, you have to pay registration in your car. In California here, if you don't pay, and they like find out you haven't paid, and your car has been over 6 months due is a thing, they can tow it from your driveway. California last year made $40 million from cars that impounded that people didn't claim or get back. And I'm sitting there going like, that's wrong. We have a right to property. That's not a right to property. That's a right to property if we pay you for it. That's not right anymore. It's a privilege that I pay you for. It's a duty, or at least the very least you could call it a duty I pay to own that piece of property, a yearly duty. That's definitely wrong. I get to own property, and that's not subject to whether or not I do what you want to do with it. Same thing with the building permits. But the thing is, though, you guys need to change your wording. I mean, because the sovereign citizen thing is, you're taking the word citizen has a lot of meaning to it. And, when you're saying you're not a citizen of this country, you're a free man, whatever. See, when you speak like that, you're using the freedom of speech. And that's the right that citizens in America have. So you want the rights that citizens have, but you don't want to take the title of American citizen. Now, I agree, our government's abusive. It has gone far past what our founders intended. But that doesn't mean that this country isn't something we should fight for and something we should just disavow ourselves of. I mean, what I think the best way for sovereign citizens to continue on the forward and continue on into the future would be to drop that title and say, I am an American citizen of the sovereign nation of the United States, and hold myself subject only to the Constitution, and all laws that violate it, I do not acknowledge or recognize. And that's a very intelligent way to put it, I think. And in that point, you can still make the whole argument in this court. This is a whatever commercial court, or commercial, especially in the driverless thing. It's commercial. It's a commercial business that you're saying I'm operating. I'm not doing that. It's commercial court. Whatever. And it's not constitutional. It's trying to take away my right to travel. Blah 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 blah. And that argument's much more invalid, I think, than the whole. Well, I don't have to follow your laws. It's like no, because the thing is, you're not questioning the whole basis of the law. You're just saying I didn't choose to be involved in that. Well, it's kind of irrelevant. You're kind of involved in this country because you're here. So I mean, if you're born here and you're a citizen. So I mean, you kind of are involved just by location, unless you're planning to just ditching the country, moving to Thailand or Malaysia or some crazy shit, or Mexico. I mean, Canada, which I wouldn't go to any of those places because they all have their own separate problems and they don't have the things that we were based on, like the founding documents, where they are. So I would not choose that as an option. So going forth, I mean, I would say that would be the better way to do it. You're a citizen of the sovereign country of the United States, and you only recognize laws that are inherent to the Constitution. And in fact, the only law we need is the Constitution. All their laws are infringement on the rights of man. And that's the truth. And that way, you can disavow that title that you have, and may you all be labeled these evil villains, but still find a way to declare laws unjust, courts unconstitutional, which most of them are in this country. and officers know better than you or I. And you can still fight for freedom, but I think the tactics are wrong, not because I disagree, but because you are a citizen here. Most of the people that call themselves sovereign, and they are enjoying the freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, and when they're not being violated, of course, but they're enjoying those, and whenever they talk, they're using that freedom of speech, but they don't want to claim the citizenship that gives it to them. I think that's wrong. Have a good day, guys, and if you know a sovereign citizen, pass this video along. So, you know what? I think there's a lot of things that they could get along and agree with the libertarians about, and we could all move along together and maybe have the same side of things, but I'm not going to fight next to non-citizens or people that will disavow my country. So, hope you guys wise up and for your own good, because I think there's a lot of good things you guys have to offer. Have a good day, guys. Chuck Prince for the USA signing out. Thanks for watching my videos, because, took your time to come here. I can't give that time back, so thank you for spending it with me.